What I found out early and often was he was going to be a lifelong friend, and that's the biggest thing. We all know what his talents were on the court. It was fun to be out there with a bunch of rookies, not knowing much, and Sean Kemp, and experiencing all together. And his talents continue to be, but the person that the big fella was and is still today set him apart from a lot of guys I played with.
And that would also be said that I'm no longer the call-up member of the Cleveland Cavaliers organization.
To remember that day, you and Vitaly Potapenko side by side there had the press conference. You know, one of the things that
he helped me.
Did he? Yeah, because he first was at Wright State. So how did he help you then?
It was just good. You know, we could speak Russian to each other. Culturally, we were similar. So the food and everything else, and his family would come here a lot. So it was good to have somebody from the region where I grew up, and you know, he was just a good guy. He took care of me.
Well, you know, as we talk today, I remember you. You didn't have much English at that time. You know, culturally, that's tough. You've worked at it, obviously. How hard was it, year by year, as you learned the language and just terms of day-to-day living?
It was hard. You know, I spoke Lithuanian, spoke Russian, and I spoke German at the time because, you know, smart me, I took German in high school instead of English. Should have listened to my mom. All my friends took German, so I took German.
If Mom wanted English, see?
Yeah. So when I came here, I remember during one of the practices, or was it a game, I forgot now, Mike Fratello was the coach, and he said something to me, and I understood. I just messed it up once I went on the court, and Mike went crazy. He's like, how can I coach him? He can't even speak English. You got to do something about it. So Wayne and him got me a tutor, I forgot her name, this really old, nice lady, and she would come here twice or three times a week, and for an hour after practice, she would tutor me, like, try to teach me about the country's history and more of a cultural aspect, speak to me, because a lot of my English was British English from Europe, so a lot of words, and especially the locker room language, that's another issue. So I had to learn two different.
There's some universal words.
To speak with my teammates and with the rest of the world. And, you know, and it was hard. I would, you know, try to skip it sometimes. As nice as she was, I didn't want to sit there for an hour. And then it got so bad that actually security wouldn't let me out. Like when I would leave the building, they would know that the tutor was in the building. Wayne told them to take my keys away, so they wouldn't let me up the ramp. So I have to go back, finish my lesson, and do it. But it was just step by step, more of a process. Once I learned the language and found some friends, and you know, city-wise and living-wise, I always felt comfortable here.
Z, then your basketball career, though, you're drafted now that first year. We talk about the injury problems, and that first year you couldn't play.
No, I couldn't play. I broke my foot in Orlando running. Me and Vitaly were doing conditioning drills in Orlando, doing the rookie camp. We were just running, doing some slides outside on the tennis courts, and I just felt like a sharp pain in my foot. Knew right away, you know, went back to Cleveland the next day, and the doctors did all the tests, and you know, came back that I broke the same foot that I'd broken in Lithuania before. So, and you know, they scheduled the surgery, and the first season was lost basically.
So you really had the injury problems, though. That was this was kind of an ongoing thing for you.
Yeah, I counted that a day. I think from the age 19 to the age 25, which is almost 6 years. I didn't play for 4 years. So, you know, it's hard because this is the age usually you get better as a basketball player because you're young, your body feels good, you can improve, you can work on your game. But, you know, I was rehabbing 80% of the time when I should be working on my basketball game. And I would come back, get it to a point where I can play again and break it again. So really didn't start playing till I was 25 because I can sustain and, you know, have my summers when I can lift weights and shoot and just get better instead of walking on crutches and trying to move my foot and seeing if it hurts again. So I think it hurt me just from a developing standpoint. Like I missed a lot of good years when players get better. I didn't, you know, I had to fight through that.
and all of it makes more amazing your career as we go on now. Now, your second year here, you play every game, Z. You had an outstanding year. Everybody
that was the only season I played till I was 25, but
what a year that was, though.
that was a strange year at first, but it was special because we had so many young players. We had 3 rookies starting, another couple coming off the bench. Sean Kemp first year here. The team went over, a lot of veterans were traded away or signed as a free agent somewhere else. So we really kind of had to find our new identity. We were younger. And Mike Fratello, he's a great coach. He holds you accountable, but I'm sure it was frustrating for him at times because he had so many young guys to get it all together. But, it turned out, we meshed from a personality standpoint. We played hard. Sean was a really good leader for us, and that was a fun year because, we ended up making the playoffs, which, back in the day, the Eastern Conference was better than it is right now, at least this season. And, just to make the playoffs, I think we were a 6-seeded team with 3 rookies starting. It was an accomplishment.
Yeah, and you had a couple of great, the second game in Indiana that year, you nearly had them. And then you come back and win one. That was very impressive. Now, you come back from that, more injury issues, basically shut you down the next couple of years, right?
Yeah, I think, for the next 3 or 4 years, I maybe played 50 games, 40 games combined. Kept coming back and played I think 10, 5 games and then break it again and come back and tried non-surgical way at first and the foot wouldn't heal and go back and have a surgery again. Till, we kind of ran out of options at the end because, I got tired mentally and your body can only take so much.
It had to be just really hard to deal with every day because you really didn't, when you were hurt, right? You really were never sure you were ever going to be able to play.
Yeah, it was hard mentally more than physically. I didn't mind walking on the crutches constantly or the rehab or even the pain that came with it. That didn't bother me. It was just more being away from the game, not having identity at that time. I was so young and you saw all your teammates were playing and they were having fun and they were practicing. You didn't feel part of the team. You were by yourself, secluded. I didn't have a family at the time, no kid, so I was at home by myself. Also, the team would go on the road. I spent more time with doctors than I did with my own teammates. And, after a while, that takes toll on you mentally.
And you never gave up. You had to be tired, though, of people like me asking, how are you? Always knowing that they want to know how your foot was. Now you come back, you played, I think it was like 24 games, and the team was playing well. You're 15-8, I believe was the record was. I think you were in Miami. Right?
Yeah, we were in Miami.
And then it goes down again. That had to just be devastating.
I remember, I caught the ball on the right block. It was right across the home team bench and did my signature hook. And as soon as I landed, I just can feel the sharp pain shooting through my foot. But this time was a little different because it was more, almost felt like my foot went numb. I knew right away. I took myself out and, and everybody was saying, we'll see, we'll get the test. We don't know what it is yet. But in my mind, I knew it. Like when you break something as many times as I did, when it breaks again, you know exactly what it is. Nobody knows your body as well as you do. And, this time came back that I shattered the bone, not in one, but I think it was 3 places. The break went right through all the pins and needles that they had. So it was kind of like, what else can you do? You already have 5 screws in there. You missed 3 years, and now you just shattered again in 3 different places. So it's whether you want or not, you go home and you start thinking, is this it? Because I can come back another year, but why would the result be any different? You get tired, and it's hard to get yourself mentally ready again to go through another round of surgeries and rehab. And people don't realize when you're on the crutches for a long time, you have to learn how to walk again. Like for me, I couldn't, they couldn't just take me off the crutches when they take me, because I've been there for so long, I wasn't able to walk because my foot was really skinny, all my muscles were gone. So I couldn't hold balance. I couldn't go to stair. So they would keep me on the crutches for another month, and I would be allowed to put gradual weight on while I really learn how to walk. Well, now you learn how to walk. You got to learn how to run again. You got to learn how to do basketball stuff. So it doesn't just come back overnight. It's a long process that people don't see till you come back again. So when you break it again, you know in the back of your mind you got to go back to the point zero and start all over again. So it was just, you know, if I was going to come back again, something had to be drastically differently done for me. I wasn't going to just have the same, because I just had no faith in it anymore. And, you know, thankfully we were able to figure it out. I think when I broke in Miami the last time, that's when I really seriously considered, you know, just not giving up, but basically just running out of options.